What's up, everyone? Champets back again for another UFC predictions video. This time for Marvin Vettori versus Dolidze, UFC Fight Night Vegas. Let's go. We're back in the Apex. I don't like this main event at all, if I'm being honest. I think this main event's going to suck. But the rest of this card's actually going to be really fun. And I'm very, very excited for it. So we'll get into it. But first, as always, we go over what happened last week. This week, this is one of the hardest ones I've ever had to do, like, look back on. Not because of the loss. The loss sucks. The worst bet I had on there was Rafael Fiziev. Like that was a horrible bet. At the odds, not the odds, but like at the amount I bet on it, that was bad. So I fully admit, like, that was horrible. But that's not the part I'm like, oh, this hurts my soul. It's this one right here. Francis Marshall, Myron Santos, plus 315. If I hit that plus 315, I'm up 22 units. He won that fight 30-27 in my eyes, but we'll get into that. But we'll go in order. We'll get into that one pretty soon. Ozzy Diaz, Jordan Santos. I put a tiny amount on Ozzy Diaz KO. I didn't really want to put a great amount of money on Ozzy, but I did think Ozzy was gonna win. I was right. Yeah, I remember completely saying, like, this Jordan Santos guy is not good at all. I was absolutely right. This dude is not good. He's not good. And yeah, Ozzy Diaz showed that. The guy's showing him he's on his level, and he ended up winning. Very good fight, though. That was a great fight. They went to war, and that was a fun time. Both getting hit constantly. Just felt like Ozzy had the better shots as the fight went on in rounds 2 and 3. In round 1, went to Jordan Santos, but kept going. It was a great work by Ozzy Diaz. That was really good. Next one. Francis Marshall versus Myron Santos. I was on Marshall. He should have won. I stand on that. This hurts my soul so much because I was a plus 315. I had a lot of belief in Marshall. I still love me some Francis Marshall. It's not his fault. The judges screwed him over. And I have to give a shout out to Myron Santos for saying that Francis Marshall should have won. Because I do want to do that, because not many fighters are willing to accept that and, like, say, like, oh yeah, I lost this fight. They're not willing to be able to do that to themselves, which I completely, like, wow, I'm very impressed by, like, Myron saying that. And I think that's going to be good for him, genuinely, going forward, because if you learn more from your losses than your wins. That's just always the case. And if he takes that as a loss, I got to get better. I got to make improvements. He's going to get better. So I'm kind of higher on Santos. What he showed in that fight was what I expected. Exactly what I expected. I called that fight to a T. I was like, Francis Marshall's ability to mix the martial arts is going to make him have a better chance at wrestling Santos, at opening up the striking. He was able to knock down Santos in round 1. I thought he was striking Santos on the feet. The numbers don't say that, but the numbers don't tell everything. Francis was hitting better shots on the feet. Yeah, Myron was throwing some more on the feet, although he's super low volume. He's always been low volume. I said that going in, and he doesn't, like, move like Gomis did. But because of that, like, he did hit more. He wasn't that clean, his shots. They really weren't. While Francis Marshall's had a little more on them. And he's moving very well. The defense of Francis Marshall was fantastico. He's gotten so much better. You can tell all the time at ATT how much it got better. That's why I was willing to play that plus 315 at a good amount. Wow. Like, I was so impressed. And I'm going to give all the praises in the world for Francis Marshall. I hope they give him a layup next fight, and I could freaking bet his finish prop at a good price, because I'm going to be on that. I love me some Francis Marshall. Improved head movement, improved defense, good checking of the leg kicks, which is one thing I was super worried about. He started checking them very well. Beautiful work. This guy's really good, and he's still super young. Judge taking him away from it. Should have been 30-27 like that one judge had it, not 29-28 Santos. But it is what it is. This is the hardest, maybe one of the hardest, like, bets I've ever had to lose, genuinely, because the right guy should have won and he didn't. That sucks. But anyways, I'm not going to dwell on it too much, because what's the point at, like, dwelling on losses too much? You gain nothing from, like, crying it or whatever. So it is what it is. That's how it is with betting MMA. But that was a massive swing for me, so that really sucked. Which one did I have another bet on that was next? It was probably this one. Armin Petrosian versus Bruno Ferreira. Oh, Armin. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. Yeah, he was doing good in the striking, but Ferreira able to get takedowns. Nice submission by Hulk Ferreira. That was actually like really nice. I gotta admit. I don't think Ferreira was that good still. I mean, he beat Petrosian in the area he's not good in. If it's just not there. I thought he'd be able to win inside the distance. I didn't put too much on it. It is what it is. Petrosian didn't look good. He didn't look that good, to be honest, except for on the feet. But of course, he's gonna look good on the feet. And yeah, that is just didn't look good for Petrosian. I don't really know what else to say about that. Next bet I had was probably Rafael. This McKinney one was so long ago. That was the parlay with Justin Gaethje when he was fighting Dan Hooker. I wish that fight's happened. Yeah, we're talking about Rafael Fiziev, Justin Gaethje. I'm so unhappy that Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje and didn't happen, because I was on Gaethje heavy, and I feel even better about it in that fight after this one. Gaethje looked great. He looked pretty great. Lost round 1. Fiziev looked great. Cardio wasn't there, man. I thought he would have a better chance at winning round 2 this time around, but now Gaethje did a great job. Dropped him bad round 2, and it's like, oh. And in round 3, it was close. But the thing is, all Rafael Fiziev's work was early. Then he started gassing out late round 3, and then the end of round 3, Gaethje put a capitalize on it. It gave the Gaethje, which is fair. But yeah, it is what it is with Fiziev. I made a big mistake putting that much on him. Like Fiziev, that was definitely my worst bet of the card. Oh my god, I totally forgot to. I skipped one, but I'll get into that. Yeah, Fiziev. I think it was a big short notice thing, and I was too willing to trust in a short notice guy off a long layoff. I think the short notice was the bigger problem, though, if I'm honest, rather than the layoff. Before that, when I skipped, Bobby Green versus Mauricio Hoofy. Holy cow, what a KO. KO of the year type KO. What a KO by Hoofy. Yeah, Green's his chin's not there anymore. It's just so sad. I hate to say it because I love Bobby Green, but yeah, Hoofy got him good. It doesn't mean that Hoofy's anything great. Although I think King Green sacrificing himself is good for the cause, because Hoofy's going to be big odds from now on, disgusting odds, and the fade will be nice, and it will be there. Because this guy's still not that great. He's still not that great. He can KO people. He's good like that, but he's not that good, and he's going to be exposed sooner rather than later. But yeah, I knew Bobby Green was going to be the one after taping. I was like, I can't do it. But yeah, I bet Roofy round 1-2 KO, and I did it as an ARB with fight goes to decision as a just in case if it does go longer. I was like, I don't think there's a KO, and if there was a KO, it'd be from Roofy, and I made money from that. So shout out to Roofy for that one. And the last one I had a bet on, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. I bet on Ankalaev to win. I think my analysis was pretty on point. I said Magomed Ankalaev would win via the striking, not the wrestling. I don't think his wrestling is that good. I did think his wrestling would be good enough to take down Poatan. I was wrong about that, but I wasn't even if he's going to win this fight, it has to be out striking Poatan. I think he will. He did. Absolutely did. Good pressure from Ankalaev, but I will tell you this. It was a lot closer than I kind of originally thought, and I'm glad I didn't put too much on it. I know a lot of people put a lot on Ankalaev. I'm so glad I didn't, because I genuinely thought he was going to get robbed at the end. I was like, oh my god, he might be blowing round 5, and they're saying round 3 could have went to Pereira, which I didn't think. I thought 2, 3, 4 really should have went to Ank, but I was like, with these judges, you can't trust them. Judge got it right for this one. Ankalaev, right guy won. I wouldn't be. He's going to be a big favorite next time out against Pereira if they rematch, which I'm assuming is going to happen. I don't want anything to do with that. I really don't want anything to do with that, because I don't think that's not trustworthy. Unk's not that high level of a guy. He's really good. When I say high level, is he's gonna beat all these dudes super dominantly. Sure, some of them, but Pereira, it was close. And oh man, maybe they're gonna try to aim for a trilogy angle if Pereira wins. I don't know. I have to see my thoughts on it when the fight comes closer. Or rewatch it again. But Ankh did enough to win. Absolutely, he deserves to be champion. So shout out to Ankh Aliyev. And then we can go to the rest of my picks I had on that card on Tapology real quick. Didn't do the best. I had 5 out of 10. Should have been 6 out of 4 because of this one. Myron Santos versus Marshall. Carlos Leal beats Morono. I thought Morono would be able to survive to a decision and just like do a good job surviving. And he was doing all right, but he just gassed. He absolutely gassed. So shout out to Leal. Got it done early. I didn't want anything to do with that. Just making sure I didn't bet that, right? I don't think I did. Yeah, no, I didn't. Rightfully so. Ray Saruya, Joshua Van. I went with Van. I thought he would get a late finish. Didn't really. Shout out to Ray for being really tough in there. He didn't really have much, to be honest. I said there would be a good opportunity probably with Ray Saruya in this fight against Van. I was wrong. I was super wrong about that. I thought he'd be able to get Van down or hold him down and then just get gassed out. It didn't happen pretty much at any point in the fight. So props to Van. You look great. So yeah, good for him. Talked about that one. Lucindo versus Lemos. Man, Lucindo looked awful. She looked awful. I wasn't confident at all, and I said this is dog or pass, so I was right about that part. But Lucindo didn't really have much. She got taken down. I mean, Lemos just fought a smart fight. She fought like a vet in there. So very smart fight by Lemos. I thought she looked really good. Was it pretty? No, it was pretty boring. But Lemos did what she had to do to win. So not much to say there. Ignacio Bahamondes, Jalen Turner. Oh man, this sucks because I changed my pick last minute to Turner, but whatever. I went with Turner. I thought it'd be more of a stand-up fight, to be honest, and I thought if there would be grappling success, it would be from Jalen Turner. And I had a bet on Jalen Turner to have over 0.5 takedowns as well as more takedowns. They didn't give him a takedown for that. Oh, that hurts so much. But oh my god, props to Bahamondes getting that triangle. That's beautiful. If I'm being honest, I don't think Jalen Turner gets caught in that. Maybe like a few years ago. But I mean, he retired after the fight. Like it's rough to see. But I love me some Bahamondes. I think he's really good. I did think this was a big step up of competition and could be tough for him. He was doing all right. Like it was not much really happened. Like takedown, gets a sub. I mean, great work by Bahamondes. I don't know what else to say. And yeah, that's it. Let's get on to this card. I'm very excited. I have a really big bet on this card, and you do not have to wait long to hear about it. Eunice Dubin versus Carly Judice. This is the big bet right here. Carly Judice. I'm going Carly Judice round 3 KO. Could be sub. I love Judice here. I love Judice here. She's going to smoke Eunice Dubin. I'd be shocked if she doesn't. I'll tell you exactly why. You're going to look at the record, be like, oh my God, Carly Crispy Judice is 3-2. She's not good. Wrong. Arguably, she could be 5-0. I'd say 4-1. I thought the Carrasqueta won that fight against Judice on the Contender Series, but it was like razor close, and Carrasqueta's really good. I love me some Ernesto Carrasqueta. I mean, she's fantastico. Huge girl for the division as well. Gabrielle Fernandez, who just beat Kong Wang, whatever you want to call her. She's all right. I wouldn't say she's the best. I did think Carly Judice won that fight. I think Gabrielle Fernandez has more power than Eunice Dubin, much better technique than Eunice Dubin. And I thought Carly Judice looked good in that fight. And it's like, I mean, if she could take those shots from Gabriela Fernandez and like be fine, she's a super tough girl. Carly Crispy Judice, who's a really good striker of her own right. Great volume, great cardio, pushes up pace. She's willing to do some wrestling, takedown, grappling sometimes, which I think she has an absolute big advantage here against Dubin. I think she could finish it with it by a sub. If I'm being honest, I really do think it's possible. I think ground and pound is possible too. Man, Carly Judice is nice. And she's so young. She's gonna keep getting better. It's great. And she's been fighting the higher level competition. Really, she really has been. Now we get to Eunice Dubin. Let me save my picks real quick because I want to go through her Tapology, because it's really funny going through the people that Dubin has fought. So yeah, she has a good win against Shannon Clark. Good. That was a great, insane KO, big underdog win on the Contender Series. I mean, I was shocked seeing it. Shannon Clark, I mean, if you watch a technique of Dubin, it's so bad. Just overhand ducking, like not even looking, closed eyes. It's horrible footwork. It's not good. And Shannon Clark is just there, getting hit, not able to do anything. It was so tragic. It was so bad, and she got put out so bad. It was a crazy KO. So yeah, there's that. She then before that, she beats all these girls who have 0-0 record, 0-0 record, 0-0 record, 0-0 record, 0-0 record. Oh my God. And you can see there's like such a big break in between 2024, 2019. Had a big break in that whole time. It's not great. And this is like, these fights are not even going long. They're not even going long. Does she have cardio? With how she fights, I don't think she does. I don't think she's gonna have the cardio. I've seen her have atrocious ground game. I've heard from people that the ground game has not gotten better since she went to Colorado. I'm going to talk about Colorado, that team, with Dubin in a second. It's a good move, but it's just these girls are not good. These girls are not good. She's fighting. They're complete not good at all. Most of them have not even considered their careers. 0-3, 0-1-1, 0-1, 1-5, and then Ingrid 0-1. What am I supposed to take from that? Like, good win on Shannon Clark on the Contender Series, and I'm going to say this as well about Shannon Clark. People are like, "Oh my God, she just got a win on the regional scene. She just got a win on the regional scene. That just shows how good Dubin is." Or not, maybe not exactly that. I'm probably speaking for people. I'm putting words in people's mouth, but you get what I mean. Like, I've heard people say, oh, that one's aging well. Is what I'm trying to say. I watched that LFA fight with Shannon Clark and I believe it's Bowers. It was Bowers. I had money on Dubin there. Oh, not Dubin, excuse me. I had money on Clark there. That was such a sweat, and she might not have won that fight. That was really close, and I wouldn't be mad if anyone called that a robbery, if I'm honest. I did think like Clark did enough to squeak out a win, but like I'm completely biased in that. And Bowers looked pretty good. So it's like I don't know if that, just looking at that green mark, W for Clark after losing to Dubin, is anything that crazy. I mean, even on that post-fight interview, Clark wasn't like, I'm not even sure I won that. Yeah, it's just I'm not impressed at all by Dubin. I'm going to mention this part about her training with Colorado. She's training with really good girls now. She's training with Rose Namajunas, Miranda Maverick. You know how much I love Miranda Maverick. She's the best. I love her. JJ Aldrich. Like, those girls. Those are good girls. That's a good camp for women's MMA. Absolutely. She's only been there for 4 weeks. For a month. You're not... It's like she's had this whole time off of Contender Series, and people are making assumptions that she's going to improve. Probably going to improve a little bit. But you're not going to get that much better in 4 weeks doing a training camp. The fight was announced, she does her training camp. No, you have to be there before a training camp to get better. It's not how it works. And I don't think that's going to be doing Dubin any favors. Like, yes, maybe it's good for the cardio because it's in Colorado. Fair play. I don't think that's enough time to be there. Do I think it's a good move for in the long term? Absolutely. That's a good camp. That's a good camp for women's MMA. You're going to get better if you stay there for long enough. But I don't think it's going to be too helpful for her right now. I'm going to be genuinely honest. I love Carly Judice. I think that pace she's gonna put on Dubin is gonna be way too much. I think I think the size, that's another thing. The size is such a big difference. Giudice has been fighting huge girls. Gabrielle Fernandez looked like she was from another weight class, 135. For Ernesta Carrasquita is huge. Dubin is small. She's small in comparison to Crispy Giudice. I think that's going to be a huge part, especially with how Crispy Giudice strikes. She's such a clean striker, Muay Thai striker. I love her. I think she's going to absolutely put a beating on Eunicia Dubin. I'm looking at the spread because I don't really give Dubin any minute winning equity. Her only way to win rounds, I think, is to land a big shot. Down goes Giudice. That's the only chance of it. I think that she's gonna wilt late. I think Dubin's gonna wilt late. I think Giudice is gonna finish her. That's what I'm here for. I'm probably gonna be looking at finish props as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it's round 1. Like, I think Giudice is going to absolutely cook her. So, yeah, give me Carly Giudice to win. Next, wrap the card. Josiana Nunes versus Priscilla Cachoeira. You know what? I'm going to go Priscilla Cachoeira. I'm not confident in this one. Well, I'll tell you why I like Priscilla. I think her at 135 is good for her. I'm scared for her chin because Josiana Nunes actually can crack, and, like, Priscilla's super hittable. And I don't know who's going to be winning the pressure battle. And I think whoever's winning the pressure battle is going to be winning the fight. And it's going to be looking like they're winning the fight with the judges, even if Priscilla Cachoeira is just hitting air, which is very possible. But I think the odds on this are kind of crazy. I think Priscilla's going to absolutely just go ham and throw hands. And so is Josie. And this has a good chance to be fight of the night. I think this fight's going to be amazing. I'm very, very excited for this one. And I think that, I do think KO was very live here. And I'm actually going to take a look at this. I don't hate this look. The idea of KO, like this fight ends by KO. Plus 160. It's not as good as I wanted it to be. Plus 160. But if you bet that with decision only Cachoeira. Because for me, I think it's really just a question of, does Priscilla even survive to get the round to the end? I'm willing to not eat that chalk. It's not chalk. It's plus 185 on DraftKings. I'm willing to take that chance on who wins a decision if we do get there at plus 185. But I don't think the KO is that unlikely. And I mean, Priscilla is getting older. She can absolutely get KO'd. This is up a weight class with someone who does hit hard. The levels of competition, though, I think does matter. And I think the big step down in comp, even though it's up a weight class, does lean it towards Cachoeira. But yeah, give me Cachoeira. I think that's what's going to happen. Good fight. So I think betting wise, what I'm looking at is Cachoeira decision only, and it voids if anything else happens. Like if the KO happens, you don't lose your money. And I think betting that with fight ends by KO, I think that's a good way to look at this fight. I'm probably going to bet that. I'm probably not going to put too much on it. But I like that look. Andre Lima versus Daniel Barrios. The odds in this fight are crazy, but I'm going to go Lima. Saab is kind of live, but I'm going to go decision. I think he's going to look really good against Barrios. Barrios is like very good at round ones, to be honest. It might even hurt Lima, to be honest. But I think Lima's too slick with the striking. I think his stand-up is just too clean. It's too clean, and because of that, it's just going to be too much for Barrios to deal with as the fight goes on. Not necessarily the best gas tank for Barrios. He's quit before, which is why I'm thinking sub is kind of possible, and I don't hate that number. I'm actually curious about that. I mean, the odds are disgusting, though, because Barrios he's not horrible by any means. He could win. It's not out of this question. Plus 650, that's okay. But I think Andre Lima, cleaner striker, rounds 2 and 3. I think he wins, and I think he can have success on the ground. And I think the ground success is going to be huge for Lima in this fight. I might even look at that sub prop and put a little bit on that. Yeah, give me Andre Lima. Sam Page versus Stephano Luciano. I can't help it. I have to go Sam Page. Sam Page is my girl. I've loved the Sam Page for all my life. It feels like that nickname It's so fitting. She's got full dog in her. I will say this though, like Luciano is good. So like she's not horrible by any means. I'm not picking against her because it's like, oh, mismatch or anything like that. I wouldn't be shocked if Luciano wins. I think this is gonna be another one of those spots for Sam Page. Live bet. Sam Page is a live bet fighter. You bet her live after she loses round 1. I expect her to probably lose round 1. I think Luciano's striking is pretty nice. I'm not crazy about her willing to go clinching so much. I think that could bite her in the butt here, and it's kind of why I'm going Sam Page. I think Sam Page loves putting on that pace. She makes girls tired. I mean, to be fair, a lot of those girls get tired on their own, but I do think part of it's Sam Page as well. I think that absolute dog mentality is gonna get to Luciano as the fight goes on, and it's probably gonna be close. It's probably gonna be like a tough fight, which is why live is the way to go, because Sam Page gets hit. She does get hit, not necessarily best defensively, just go. So I'm gonna put a little bet on BetMe.tips. I'm gonna put like 0.1 just so I bet on Sam Page, but if I bet on Sam Page, it's gonna be live. It's gonna be live for sure. Yeah, I love the Sam Page. I do think this could be a really tough fight for her, though. I don't think Luciano's bad at all. That last fight, Luciano looked great, but Alencar fought one of the dumbest fights I've ever seen her. Why did Alencar, a girl who only can really have success with their grappling, fight mostly a stand-up fight against Luciano? It just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. I think Sam Page can put in the wrestling at times. I know she doesn't do it the most often, but I think she can. And I think she's going to be more willing to do it here because of the matchup. I think her pace is going to be everything here. And yeah, that's why we love the Sam Page. Give me the Sam Page to win. But not that confident. I'm going to be honest. I'm not that confident. Josias Musasa, KO Wizard versus Carlos Vera. I like me some KO Wizard, and I think it gets a KO here. But I will say this. Carlos Vera is the type of guy if he gets hurt, he's just going to pull guard and survive like that. So I was thinking about betting an under on this fight, and I do think his power is very real. But I'm so afraid of that. But so maybe if you bet some kind of under or inside the distance, minus 155 inside. I don't hate that, actually. I might put a little bit on that in like a parlay. But if you look into that as like a bet, I think you have to include like round 3, because like the end of round 3 instead of under 2.5, because it might be a point where he's gotten hurt so many times, pulled guard so many times, the ref just calls it. That would not shock me at all, and that's kind of what I think might happen, has a chance of happening. Although I think he just puts him out cold round 1. This guy's power is insane. I think he's gonna be able to find a way back up even without any real jiu-jitsu knowledge. The worry is him getting subbed, which is absolutely fair. We don't really know if his sub game is any sort of good. It probably isn't, but I think he's gonna do a Derek Lewis and just get up. This athleticism's off the charts, and this guy can hits like a truck. I like me some KO Wizard. I think he has good upside in the future. He's got to get better. He is very green, so I get people being hesitant with betting him, which is completely fair. But if I'm going to bet anything on this, it'd be him inside the distance. He's not going to cover this line if it's not inside the distance. So, yeah. So Young Yu versus AJ Cunningham. I think Yu wins this. I'll go decision. Although the line is kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. I thought AJ Cunningham looked pretty good on the scale, to be honest. Like, considering, like, he cut his weight the right way. I like the move to 135, which I thought was kind of crazy seeing it because he's a 155er. I like the move to Colorado too. There's better training there. Yu's not gonna like beat him up bad on the feet, to be fair. He's not. So I get it. Like, he used mostly like a one-shot guy in the feet, like throw one shot, then back to normal. I do think Yu's grappling is good enough to get takedowns and hold Cunningham down. So that's what I think. But level of competition Yu's fight's not been the best. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. But you really should win. Like, I don't think Cunningham's that great, to be honest. Sadly, I know some people with bets on Cunningham, and I get it. It's complete dog money. But I think Yu's gonna be able to flatten him out and just ground him for 3 rounds. Waldo Cortez Acosta, Ryan Spann. By the way, I'm not betting this fight. Like, hell no. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Ryan Spann. Give me Ryan Spann. This Waldo has gone away too many times. Too many times. He doesn't deserve to be on this win streak. He's on. I do not like this guy, and don't care. This is like not the best reasoning, but I'll actually do have reasoning for why I like Spann here. I think the heavyweight move is good for Spann. I don't think he's going to be like outmatched at heavyweight, if I'm being honest. Wilder's just not been looking good. He's got wins, but they're not good. Robel's just playing, getting those takedowns be boring. And it's not even the boring part. That's like the worst part. You couldn't finish him on the ground. Lack of awareness on the ground, in my opinion, because of that. This dude, Despain has 0 ground game. 0 ground game. Awful. I mean, did what he had to do to win. Don't get me wrong. But, Arlovsky. I thought Arlovsky could have won this, if I'm being honest. He went life and death with Arlovsky. Guy with barely any chin anymore, sadly. Sadly, I love you, Arlovsky. And he competed well with Waldo on the feet. Oh, my God. Bresky, I mean, good win. But, like, he's Bresky at the end of the day. I love Bresky, but, it's not good. De Lima, fair play, his legs got chewed up bad. And Chase Sherman is Chase Sherman. With Ryan Spann, I think he can catch Waldo. I think he absolutely can. I think his ground game is going to be a lot better. I don't think his cardio is going to be as much of a worry at heavyweight because he's going to be like every other heavyweight. And I think also part of it is not as much of a weight cut. So I think maybe that weight cut took a lot out, possibly a good amount out of him. Willing to do that. I'm not crazy about how he looked on the scale at all, but I don't think it's gonna freaking matter. It's heavyweight. I think he's gonna be faster than Waldo. I think his ground game's a lot better than Waldo, and I mean, he can absolutely get a sub. I don't think his cardio is gonna be the worst, and I think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he lay and prayed Waldo for 3 rounds. That's very, very possible. So, honestly, I like the money line on Spann. The money lines come down a bit as of time, but I think Spann gets it done. If I'm honest, I don't think Waldo's good. I don't think he's good. I think he's been getting away with stuff. He's winning these volume battles on the feet, but the fights are close still somehow. It's ridiculous. So like 1 or 2 shots from Spann, they hit Waldo good enough. Doesn't necessarily have to knock him out. He can still win the fight. I think the grappling edge is huge for Spann, and he can absolutely win. The worry is him quitting. I get it. That's why he's a dog in the fight. He's just a more skilled fighter. I think going up a weight class is going to be very invigorated. I think training with Kennedy and Nzechukwu is going to be a pretty good sparring partner when fighting, for fighting Waldo Cortez Acosta. I don't put much stock in that Despain win. Give me Ryan Spann to win this fight. Next fight, Kevin Vallejos versus Sung Woo Choi. Oh, this fight hurts me. I want to pick Choi so bad, but no, I have to go Vallejos round 1. Okay, Vallejos is good. I'd like me some Vallejos. I worry about the size advantage for Choi. Like, Choi is huge. Choi is huge for the weight class. The problem with Choi, man, just this chin, man. This chin is so bad now. It hurts my soul. Hurts my soul. I love Choi. He tries to engage in war too often, and maybe Vallejos gets caught. I have to give respect to Vallejos. Great durability. I think Vallejos gets him out of there round 1, round 2 KO, if I'm being honest. I think Sung Woo Choi is going to fall into that same track and just get himself KO'd. I will tell you this, though. If this fight goes long, if this fight somehow gets to round 3 or goes to decision, you want to be on that Choi side, because I don't know how the hell he made it there. And if he did, it's probably him out-wrestling Vallejos, or it's him just controlling the outside, which I think, honestly, is possible. It's very, very possible. And I think he'd be smart to do so. And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something I like on this fight. What's round 1, 2 KO? Even, I bet you if I look in another book for Vallejos, I'll get better odds on that. Where is the round 1-2 KO for Vallejos. There's probably more. Here we go. There's decision only. Sung Woo Choi plus 200. I don't hate that at all. Because again, if he gets there, I don't know how he would get there because his chin is so bad. And the only way he gets there is if he's controlling the fight. So I don't hate that as a look. Is there? I can't find this. Dang. Well, anyways, if there's probably like better odds in round 1 and 2, and that's probably going to be what I'm looking at for Vallejos. Round 1 to KO. Or maybe just round 1 and 2, but maybe at a different book than this one. But what I'm trying to say is, if this fight does go long, pairing that, like that round 1-2 KO with Vallejos with round 3 decision or decision no action with Sung Woo Choi, I think is a good way to look at this fight, because I rate Sung Woo Choi's skill. He has skills. I'm not letting that go, but do I think he gets KO'd? Yes, I do. I genuinely do think he gets KO'd. Round 3 or by decision plus 750. If you put those two together at plus money both, I think you'll be fine. I think you don't have to worry about Choi finishing Vallejos early, because Vallejos is super durable, although it could happen, but I'm willing to take that shot. And because I believe in Vallejos' his durability. But maybe he gets tired trying to get Sung Woo Choi out of there. I don't know. Adrenaline dump. It's possible in a UFC debut. But ultimately I do think he gets a KO. I do think he gets a KO. So yeah, Vallejos round 1-2. Choi decision is possible. I'll tell you that. And I'm probably gonna play both. DR. I didn't remember. I didn't do tape study on this fight. To be honest, I don't care for this fight that much. DR. Nergoje, and Brenson Hibero. I don't have much to say on this fight. I think both guys are not good. I'm going to go DR to win by... It could be decision. I'm going to go round 2 KO. Because Brenson Hibero's chin is so bad. It's so bad. And he went to life and death with Kyle Machado, man. That was just... Oh, that was bad. That's a bad look. DR... His Dana White Contender Series fight didn't impress me at all. Yes, the KO was nice. Absolutely. To get to that point, I was like, I don't see anything great about this guy. And he came in so overweight. It's probably to his favor. He just didn't. It doesn't care. Brenton Hibero's chin is so bad. You can't rely on him. His not sub defense, but his takedown defense is atrocious. He can crack. He can hit. I think DR has a good chin. It's just he doesn't do it for me. If I were to bet on anything on this fight, which I will not be, I bet on this fight to go the distance or over, because I want this fight to end sooner, and it's a win-win to me. That's the only reason why I'm like that. I just don't touch this one. This guy, this DR does not justify these odds. He's not that good. I promise you, he's not that good. And Brenton Hibero, you definitely want to put money on this guy in my eyes. So this is just an all-time pass for me. Nothing for me. Damon Blackshear versus Cody Gibson. Give me Damon Blackshear. I think if there's a lock on the card, it's Blackshear. I think he's live for the sub, but I'll go decision. I think there's definitely value in the sub number if you're going to go with him. I think Blackshear is going to absolutely cook Gibson. I don't see an area where Gibson's better than Blackshear, if I'm genuinely honest. I think the younger guy in Blackshear is going to keep getting better. It's going to do work. Gibson's not bad by any means, but I think just the trajectory is just completely different. I think the guys they've been facing is completely different as well. Like beating Cody Stamen, pretty good. Beating Chad and Helliger, what does that tell me? I'm surprised he didn't finish that fight too. Montel Jackson, great fighter, super short notice. Can't beat that, Matt. Brian Callagher is retired, sadly. Mario Batista could have went to Blackshear. I did think Mario Batista won, but that was a close fight, and that was short notice. Miles Johns, he didn't even push the pace on Miles Johns in the last round. Josie Johnson, I mean, those are not the best wins, but I mean, Twister's pretty insane. But he looked great in these fights. And Brad Katona, not a bad lot. That was a great fight. Went to war with him. Francisco Rivera Jr. I think just the levels of competition has been completely different. I'm going with the younger guy. I think I could trust him. I think he can parlay him. And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So, yeah. Give me Damon Blackshear. I love him this week. Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holobaugh. I don't even know where to begin with this. I'm going to go Alexander Hernandez. I wouldn't be shocked if this is somewhat similar to the Trey Ogden fight. I think goes decision. I think KO round 1 is live for Hernandez. It always is. But Holobaugh's really tough. So I got to give credit to Holobaugh there. I am worried about Hernandez getting out cardioed by a Holobaugh. That is super live to happen. Very, very live to happen. But I can't get that Trey Ogden fight out of my mind. No, Ogden's good on top. Don't get me wrong. But I just see Hernandez getting a takedown. Holobaugh conceding bottom position, just being on bottom. And Hernandez staying there. There's going to be sub attempts. And he doesn't get caught and he wins a decision. I think that's just what's going to happen. So, yeah, I think Alexander Hernandez wins by points. I'd be worried about his gas tank, though. I will tell you that. So I'm not like ultra confident in Hernandez. I'm not really looking to bet this one right now. Maybe the odds get somehow better, but I doubt it. No thanks. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Zaleski. ZDS. I love calling him ZDS. Zaleski dos Santos. That's what I've called him for years. Elizeu always confuses me. But Zaleski versus Chidi and Njokuani. Chidi bang bang. Oh, I love me some Chidi on Njokuani. And I think he wins again here. I'm going decision. I think 170 Chidi is a problem. I think he's a big problem. I think aging Zaleski it's rough for him. I think they're having this fight on the second fight, the co-main event on this card because of Chidi, more so than Zaleski. Although Zaleski, these guys are fun fighters. Don't get me wrong, they're fun fighters. But I think Chidi, the hardware is ridiculous at 170. Dudes are having such a tough time taking this guy down and holding him down. I think that's not going to be anything different with Zaleski. And if you look at his past fights, Zach Scroggin, you can't take anything from that. That was super short notice. Randy Brown losing that. I think that's a similar style matchup to this fight. Probably Randy Brown's a little better on the ground, but I think the size is going to be a big problem. Renat Vakardinov. I mean, I thought it's more a good thing for Zaleski than a bad for Renat, but Renat's so bad, man. Abu Bakr split. Oh my god, I can't believe you're going to split. Benoit Saint-Denis. It's Benoit Saint-Denis. Like, Zaleski has a problem where he keeps fights too close. And something a prop I like on this fight. I'm gonna be betting on Njokuani's money line. I will say that. And I will have to mention this. He missed weight. He didn't look. I was like, oh, when I read he missed weight this morning, I was like, oh, this is so bad. This is horrible. I don't want Njokuani to miss weight. Then look in the scales and look how he looks. He didn't look that bad, to be honest. I guess he's like, okay, I just can't get these pounds off. I'm not going to kill myself over it. I think he looked okay. But, like I said, a prop I like on this fight. If you go on DraftKings, Chidi Njokuani fight lines, there's a 3.5. I don't want plus 5.5. I want minus 3.5 Chidi Njokuani. Let me explain why. That's plus 225. I think Njokuani needs to win fights dominantly. And I don't really want him as much if he's not winning so dominant. I think him winning dominantly is how he's has to win this fight. And do I think it's gonna happen? Yes. I think his clinch game is great. It's very great. Obviously his striking is really good too. He could put Zaleski out at any second because his striking is that good. Zaleski's getting older too. Not going to be great for durability. No, he's pretty durable overall, but Njokuani hits different. But I am going a decision because I think Njokuani just how he's been fighting. He's going to keep fighting that way. He's not going to chase for a finish, but if he sees a finish, he's going to go for it. And I like that. I like that with fighters. And I think Njoku Wani's, the hardware is going to be too much for his Lesky at this age in his career, where he's been just going too close with guys. I know this is a big step up for Chidi in terms of the competition he's been fighting as of late at 170. But I think he's good enough. I like me some Chidi. I think he's going to win this fight. Give me Njoku Wani. I think he's going to win this in a pretty wide margins, which is why I like the minus 3.5 at plus 225. So I'm going to be attacking that as well as probably the money line. Main event, Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. This is such a bad fight. This is good. I mean, I should say this is going to be a bad fight. I don't know how this is not going to be boring in my eyes, unless it's like Roman KO, which I don't think is going to happen. I gotta go Marvin Vettori. My computer is lagging now. I'm sorry about this. Give me Marvin Vettori. Come on, Tapology. Marvin Vettori, not KO. Decision. I think he'll win a decision. Dolidze's tragic, man. I can't with this guy. I don't think he's good at all. I know his ground game is good. I have to admit that. Doesn't wrestle. His wrestling's not that good. He's go clinch and hold it, clinch, not do much with it. He just throws hooks. I thought Vettori won the first fight. I know some people thought Dolidze won. Not me. I thought Marvin Vettori won. I'm worried about the layoff, and because of that, I'm not pulling the same mistake I did with Fiziev last week and putting a lot on it. I'm probably gonna be playing on Vettori though. I think Vettori is just gonna cook him as the fight goes on. Dolidze's cardio is so bad. Dolidze in a 5-rounder. What the hell were they thinking doing this? I don't know. But Dolidze's not no young guy by all means. I know Vettori got smoked so bad against Cannonier after hurting Cannonier round 1. Don't forget that. That was kind of crazy. I think Vettori is just gonna probably weather a little bit of a storm early on, then out volume him and win a 5-round decision. I know I've heard the rumor of the shoulder. Marvin Vettori's shoulder is messed up. You got to go bet on Dolidze. I think Dolidze's so bad that even a bum shoulder Marvin Vettori can win. I'm not crazy about the odds, but I did get them. I'll talk about now. I did get them earlier on. I think Vettori's gonna win. I just think it's gonna be too much. Just too much cardio, too much of a cardio edge. I think he wins rounds 4 and 5 at a pretty high clip, and it's just gotta get one of those first 3 rounds, and I think he can. Because Roman Dolidze isn't that good. He's just not. So, yeah, I'll take Marvin Vettori. I think he's gonna make this a pretty boring fight. I like the move to ATT, by the way, and I think that's gonna do good things for Marvin Vettori. Maybe he's on that Coconut Creek water steroids. Yeah, I think Vettori wins. So let's reflect on the picks and my 6 strikes and more takedowns leans. Carly Judice, Eunice Dubin, 6 strikes, Crispy Judice all day. She's going to put strikes on Dubin. All of them. It's going to be amazing. Even if she gets randomly meme KO'd, you're going to trust her. She's going to land big shots. And more takedowns, Judice. She's the only one who's going to be going for any takedowns. Dubin's ground game is not good. Nunes, Cachoeira. That's tough. I go 6 strikes, Cachoeira, but I don't know. That's a tough one. I actually am curious about the takedowns line. I don't think either go for takedowns, by the way. So I probably wouldn't even touch that line, but I'm actually very curious. Plus 110, minus 145 cash. I think that makes sense. But I don't want to touch the 6 strikes or takedowns in this fight. Andre Lima, Barrez. Going with Lima. The 6 strikes of Lima is tough because he's kind of low volume, but he takes the shots very clean. I wouldn't do that. More takedowns, though. I think you could probably parlay that with Lima. I think the more takedowns with Lima. What's the odds on that? Let me see that on Bovada. Odds on Bovada. Minus 400. I think you could parlay that. I think you'll get that pretty safely. Sampage versus Luciano. I wouldn't want to do this one. I wouldn't want to bet 6 strikes or takedowns, but I'm curious. Sampage, more takedowns. Luciano, more 6 strikes. I mean, that makes sense to me. I get it. But I don't think either are that great. Because I know Luciano is willing to go within a clinch and stuff like that. That's the thing that worries me with the takedowns. Otherwise, I'd be like, oh yeah, Sampage takedowns. But no. And Sampage pushes the pace, so maybe she overtakes the 6 strikes. Musasa, Vera. Musasa 6 strikes is probably a lock. Like, even if he gets subbed, this dude is not laying a finger on him. He doesn't do damage at all. Minus 500, I would take that. Like, the only chance this misses is if Musasa gets taken down immediately and just gets rained on. That's not even how Vera fights. So, more 6 strikes, Musasa. Although, even then, he's not even the most high volume. So, maybe I don't even suggest that. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. And more takedowns, probably Vera, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets reversed and then Musasa gets counted as a takedown. So don't even touch that either. Sung Young Yu, AJ Cunningham, probably you takedowns. I bet you that number is going to be disgusting. But I'm curious. Minus 2,000. Yeah. More 6 strikes. I don't hate that for Cunningham, to be honest, because this guy doesn't even throw that much on the feet. So I don't actually mind that plus 200 on H. Cunningham, more 6 strikes, but yeah, I think you. Wado Casa Cortez versus Ryan Spann. I'm curious about these ones as well. More takedowns, definitely Spann. Definitely Spann. Feel good about that when you're not losing your money. Oh, there's no odds. I don't know why. Let me refresh. But Spann, definitely more takedowns. More 6 strikes, probably Acosta, but the hell with that. I'm not betting that. I'm not betting that. Next fight. Sungwoo Choi, Kevin Vallejos. It does depend how the fight goes. I'd say more takedowns, Choi, to be honest with you, because I don't think Vallejos is going to be going for no takedowns. Which is Sungwoo Choi minus 200 takedowns. I don't hate that actually. I think that's a right. Either that voids or hits. I don't think Vallejos is going to ruin your day with that. So yeah, more takedowns, Choi, I think would be the way to go. More 6 strikes. It depends how this fight goes. I wouldn't be shocked if Sungwoo Choi wins a decision, but probably 6 strikes Vallejos. DR Hibero. DR takedowns, because Hibero's takedown defense is so bad. It's atrocious. It's horrible. Now I'm actually curious about that, because I think that'd be the only thing to be looking at to bet that fight. DR more takedowns. Plus 105. I mean, I guess Ribeiro does go for takedowns, to be fair. So maybe I take that back, but I think DR more takedowns is probably the way to go if you had to pick a side. More 6 strikes. Oh God, I don't even. I guess DR, but no, don't do it. Cody Gibson, Damon Blackshear. I think Blackshear wins both of these. Maybe Gibson can keep it close with the striking, but I think more takedowns, probably Blackshear is where I would lean. Hernandez, Kurt Hollabaugh. I'm actually curious about some of these odds as well. I think Hernandez, more takedowns is a good look, and more 6 strikes is not a bad look either. But I'm curious about the odds, though, at the end of the day. Because I know Gibson does throw a lot of volume, which would be the worry. I think those are actually playable. I don't hate Blackshear on more 6 strikes or more takedowns either. I think those are okay. I'm looking at the wrong fight. Sorry about that. Mental lapse. I'm looking at Hernandez versus Hollabaugh. More takedowns, Hernandez. Minus 250. I don't hate that at all, actually. I think if I'm going to play that fight, this would be the way to play it. Minus 250, more takedowns. And then more 6 strikes. Hernandez minus 200 makes sense, but I wouldn't want that. Cool. So I like more takedowns for Hernandez, and I probably bet that. Njokuani, Zaleski. If the fight plays out how I think it will, Chidi and Njokuani more 6 strikes. I think that's going to look good. Plus 105. Give me that. I like that. Even if he loses, give me that. More takedowns, probably Zaleski. Yeah, that makes sense, because I don't think Chidi's going to be trying to go for no takedowns. And then on the main event, Marvin Vettori, Roman Dolidze. I am curious about these ones as well. More 6 strikes, I'd lean Vettori. More takedowns. I'm not even sure if Vettori's going to shoot for any takedowns, to be honest, but he might in the later rounds. Plus 140, Vettori. I don't hate that, because I'm not even sure if Dolidze even gets Vettori down. So yeah, I think Vettori is good on both of those, but I'm not crazy about either of them, to be honest. Except more 6 strikes. I like the more 6 strikes. I think he's going to outvolume Dolidze. It's kind of what Vettori does. So yeah, those are my picks for the card. Thanks so much for watching. You can check me out at champbetsmma.com. Yeah, and you can also check me out at Bet Me the Tips Champ Bets. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Very excited for next week's card. Going to London, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. Excited for that card. Some bets I like on that card a lot. It's going to be a good one. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.